I would. Welcome everyone to another episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. It is the 222 gateway, so an extra charge of powerful energy for each of you as you come into this space. The 222 number sequence is a powerful one that really helps you tap into vision, and I'm excited to share this auspicious time with you all, this most sacred place. And actually, since we come together every Wednesday at noon Pacific, when you have a recurring time, this is the same as true as if you meditate in the same place in your house. You are consecrating a sacred space. So, hi, Joe Fox. This place is extremely consecrated now of 7 years of broadcast here, Wednesdays at noon, along with this incredible gateway. So get ready for some powerful energy flowing up in here today. We are going to focus on victim mindset today, and I'm excited to channel an intelligence from the Akashic Records. It's going to help each of you take your power back in areas of your life where you feel victim, where you feel imprisoned to what's happening on the outside, meaning what's happening in the outside world. We've got some great members of our community here already joining. I see you, Joe and Shai and Patty and Ann and Mona. Welcome. I want to encourage you all, type hello in the comments once you get here and let us know where you are tuning in from. See, all my regulars here, they know. I'm tuning in from the High Sierras in Reno, Nevada. And as we begin to all come together in this consecrated space, please start the activations right now and begin to imagine in your mind illuminations, pinpoints of light all over the globe where we are tuning in from, because we are creating a sacred grid of consciousness, of power, of freedom, of abundance, of health, prosperity, love, all of the things that you came to this planet to experience in physical form. So we are strengthening our ability to weave this energy, this light across our planet and to feel it. Okay, a lot of you who love spiritual growth and you tune into the wisdom keepers and the gurus and people that you really value listening to, what you'll notice is there's a message of empowerment of how much help is available to us from the higher realms, from finer frequencies of energy. I also want to encourage you, as we talk about the Akashic Records today, to remember not only are we downloading, are we getting this information and this help and this support that's available, but we are also informing the grid. We are turning back around, especially here in this place, because the Akashic Academy at its core is about returning freedom to the planet, the places where we've become imprisoned, where we've become a victim. You are a free sovereign being, free to experience health and abundance and wealth and that which you feel is important, that your soul desires to experience. That is yours by divine right. But it's not just about taking that. It's about empowering each other and truly creating a strength, a bond, and a community where we, as we do the work for ourselves, we are also helping others with this. We are uploading intelligence to the Akash. Humans, this is an incredible experiment, because humans, we are as likely top 10, because there are just millions and millions of life forms in the galaxy. But humans rank in the very top of being the most powerful. And here's the crazy caveat: we've forgotten. So we exist in this incredibly powerful technology to not only affect change in our life, but to help others. And we've totally forgotten it. So part of what I'm going to ask you to do is to tap into a self-responsibility. See yourself as part of the bigger storyline. You came to the planet at this time, not only to experience all of those wonderful things, abundance and health and connection in the physical world, but you also came to help save the planet. Because the more and more of us that embody in human form, in this forgetting form, and we wake up, the more powerful all of humanity becomes. Really exciting time to be here. So let's talk quickly about the Akashic Records. What's up, Carrie? Thank you for that. If this is resonating with you, send some love likes, hearts across the screen. Blow up the algorithms here on social media, and let's get to work. All right, so to start out, let me give you a quick tutorial about what the Akashic Records are. And then we are going to dive into using them today to help us release victim mentality so that we can take our power back. So the Akashic Records are the realm of consciousness where all information, past, present, all possible futures, has been recorded from a neutral perspective. Neutral means unconditional love and zero judgment. It doesn't mean It doesn't mean comme ci, comme ça. I saw Robert G in the house speaking a little French up in here. We'll speak some French. You might hear me speak some French up in here. For those of you who don't, not that my time in Hollywood is an excuse for my potty mouth. I actually really enjoyed saying curse words even when I was little. I remember the first time I accidentally said the F word to my mom. I was in college by that time. Something about it feels very empowering. And as I continue to grow and expand my own vibrational frequency, sometimes I don't need to use those bad words to express myself as I get more mature. But no judgment up in here. And if you happen to say a bad word or two, that's okay. You might even hear me say a bad word or two. Although those of you who have been here for a while, my mouth is cleaned up a bit as of recently, hasn't it? Because I've been meditating more and more. All right, so let's get off of the language, speaking French, and get back into speaking about the Akashic Records. So again, yes, this space is recorded from a neutral perspective, meaning unconditional love and zero judgment. So I want to bring your awareness to everyone who comes into this space. I've opened the records before we came into this space. I did some meditation. I did some channeling and some sounding of frequency, some visualization. And that creates a powerful frequency in here. So notice your thoughts as they're coming in, because you all are having access to your Akashic Records as well. But it's important to notice the frequency of the thoughts as they're flowing in, because they are going to vibrate to a frequency of unconditional love and zero judgment. And if you're somebody who judges yourself a lot, you'd be like, where did that thought come from? That's your higher self or your Akashic Records or your guides. It's all really the same energy. That is this higher frequency communicating with you. And I also want you to notice that if you have thoughts that feel scary or thoughts that feel like they are second guessing your power, you can't really do that. Oh, that was a great idea for you to be super abundant or super magnetic to what you want, but you can't really do that. If you notice that resistance energy coming in, that's okay. It's not coming from the Akashic Records. It's coming from your shadow self or the part of you that is still holding your victim mentality. But it's great. If that energy comes up in here, Patty's thinking about her mom. Excellent. Yes. In the space of our Akashic Records, we have masters, teachers, loved ones, and guides who have passed. So I love that Patty notices that she's thinking about your mom. Notice your thoughts. If your shadow energy comes up today and tries to contradict a great thought that comes into your mind, welcome it into this space and allow it to receive the light that it needs, the love that it needs. It's not about extraditing part of you and being like, hey, shadow self, the part of me that thinks I can't do X, Y, Z, you get over there. You stay over there in the corner. Nah, let that part of you in. Okay, there are millions of different ways that you can work with your shadow energy, but one of the most important things to understand is let's integrate it, because creating separation is just creating more polarity in your life. And while the polarity really helps us to learn, from a standpoint of enlightenment or expanding our consciousness and awareness, we want to allow ourselves to move back into a state of oneness where truly anything is possible. The state of oneness is where infinite possibility exists or miracle consciousness exists. We talked about the 222 gateway today, which is really opening a portal for you to step into your vision. So we need to make sure that all the victim parts of you, the parts of you that have been imprisoned, can be reintegrated so that you can experience the most expansion possible from this gateway. Okay. So when we can tap into the records or the highest level of intelligence of our soul, the highest level because it's unconditional love and zero judgment, we can get instantaneous intelligence or downloads. Where I want to focus your attention on where to get these downloads is start by, let's look at the places in our life where we are experiencing dis-ease. That doesn't necessarily mean physical disease, but it can mean physical disease. And that might be what you're a victim to right now, is your poor health. Maybe your finances are diseased. That you may feel like a victim to your ability to source and resource. So we want to use the Akashic Records, especially when we're starting, when we're beginners. We want to use this frequency to begin clearing the areas where we've got karma that's building up. Karma is an unlearned lesson or some area where you are repeating the same patterns over and over and over again. There are two choices: evolve or repeat. If you're not evolving in your patterns and you're repeating them, we're going to release you from that victim mentality of those patterns today. But we want to use the Akashic Records to begin to invite intelligence so we understand why we're caught up in this pattern. Ooh, here's a big one. What we're learning from this pattern and how to get out of the pattern. So I want you to begin to think about, what area of your life are you playing the victim? It's like the casting director, your higher self casting director said, we need a victim, just bad, disempowered victim. Send in your best actors, your best actresses. I'm giving you a Hollywood analogy. That's how Hollywood works. The producers reach out to the casting directors. They say, hey, we're casting these roles. Send us your best people. So where are you just killing it when it comes to playing the victim? You are disempowered. You are blaming other people. You are attaching to the emotion, crying about all of this shit. There you go, some French for you. All this shit that's happening in your life. I also want to encourage you to play full out. Let yourself be seen and heard in this space. So I'm going to encourage you to type your answers into the comments. Plus, it's going to help us feel like a community. I guarantee you, not a single one of you out there have unique problems. And it helps to realize, oh, I'm not the only one. Okay, good. Shoot. For me, probably the biggest area of my life where I feel disempowered is being a parent. I have 3 teenagers, super challenging. Hey, they're challenging. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Patty. Everybody who's playing full out, thank you. Terry, thank you. In your finances. I have stories that support how challenging it is for me to be a parent. One of them I just shared with you right there. My kids are teenagers. I don't know why I do, like, I did a fake mic earlier. And then sometimes my pin mic, but I got a real mic right here. Is it on? Oh yeah, it's on. So notice you're going to have stories around why you're a victim to these areas. I just shared my story, my teenagers. That's a collective storyline that teenagers are challenging. Okay. I'm no longer with their dad, my husband of 20 years. So there's major challenge there. I have had a story for a very long time in my life that I have to do everything alone. And sometimes it plays out in an empowering sense. Like I can remember being a little girl and we had this grand piano and it was terribly out of tune. So I hated playing the piano. But what it was really cool for was I could get underneath it and I had my whole little clubhouse area underneath the piano because it was huge. And then I could make puppets, like paper bag puppets or sock puppets. I was pretty innovative. I would go to where all of the mismatched laundry socks were, where there's, just one and the laundry portal eats the other. And I would make puppets out of the socks and the paper bags, and I would reach up behind the grand piano and puppeteer them. And I would do all of it. I would write and I would create. So I guess that would be the costume department for the puppets. And then I would direct them. And by the time it was actually go time, like curtain ready for the show, I was exhausted because I had done all of the pieces behind the scenes. Cool that, your girl got a little grit, she can get her done. And that's not a story that has really served me for my entire life. There are areas where when it plays out in its shadow octave, pulls the rug out from underneath me, turns me into a victim. And when I recognize this pattern and I can begin to see it for what it is and know where that serves me, but also where it serves me to call in help, then I can use that characteristics in its highest octave or in a superpower where I'm no longer a victim to it. But I really have to get in there and spend some time curating this relationship with my victimhood. And the Akashic Records are going to make it easy for us to work today. So I want you to begin to think about, Robert feels betrayed. Jennifer feels it with her mom. These are all the areas where each one of you, thank you all for playing full out. We're going to work today. The Akashic Records is already beginning to flood light into these areas in your mind, in your imagination, which your imagination is a PowerPoint. This is your superconscious intelligence that you get to tap into. The Akashic Records is already beginning to flood light into the mind, illuminating this issue, your victimhood, and expanding it with intelligence so that you can see the bigger picture. And for all of you who are playing full out, sharing in the comments and in your mind right now, I want you to ask your records, ask your guides, your higher self, your records, universe, God, higher intelligence, where this pattern came from. I want you to take a deep breath in. On the end of the exhale, the first thing that pops into your mind, I want you to work with that concept. Deep breath in. Nice slow exhale. Try to clear your mind. Try not to be thinking about what the answer is. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. And when you're all out of air, let the answer come into your mind. Where did this pattern come from? Good. And begin to just sit with that. Notice the answers that are coming in. If you'd like to share them in the comments, I would be more than happy to invite you. I will use my high priestess skills and personally witness where your life is shifting and changing, which is an important part of our growth. And you guys get to witness each other. Jennifer says lineage. Yeah. Ancestral. A lot of this stuff can be ancestral. Yeah. Grief and pain, failing. Here's another cool thing that's happening behind the scenes. If I was going to continue to use these Hollywood references for you, we would call this subtext. Taylor, abandonment. Thank you. And that is the memory that's popping up in your mind that is the template for failing, abandonment, working too hard, these areas where each one of you are noticing that the victimhood stemmed from this particular issue. What's happening is as we are bringing awareness to it, and as we all get to bring awareness together here in this powerful space, and especially on this gateway, what's happening is you healing this issue forward and backward through time. And so what begins to happen when more and more of us, meaning humans, wake up and we do this kind of work where we're moving our consciousness through the time-space continuum and we're taking light with us back in. So we're, in essence, you are a time traveler right now. You are traveling back in time to this point of pain and hurt, trauma that you've taken on at some point in your life, and you are healing it. You are taking light, and light is intelligence. And intelligence makes something whole or healed. Just coming in from your guides right now. There's a lot behind that. So just mark those words, contemplate them, think about them over the course of the week. Anything in your life that is unhealed means it's incomplete. It's not in a state of wholeness. It's in a state of partialness or incompletion. And if we look at everything as energy, light, particles of light hold intelligence and energy that come and they bind to the part of your issue that is incomplete or that you are only seeing in its partial phase, and it's bringing light. Mom's late to the party. I only said one bad word so far, Mom. And when we heal our trauma forward and backward through time, what happens is we begin to experience a lot of you may have heard of this concept before. It's really quite a crazy quantum phenomenon, but it's called the Mandela effect. And it refers to Nelson Mandela, who some of us remember dying in prison and some of us remember being released in prison. There's because there have been timeline shifts and healing that's happened in the collective that cause us to have different memories. And it's not just Nelson, it's also Kit Kat, and it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and it's the Berenstain Bears. And now it's your life too, because you just did this powerful quantum work. All right, so let's go on to the next step of this process, and that is finding the gift within the wound. So again, we're going to ask your records, your guides, your higher self, God, whatever you like to call it, superconscious intelligence. How is this serving me? So Suzanne, who's worked too hard, and Taylor, who's experienced the abandonment, and Terry, where she felt the fear of not being good enough or undeserving, which is affecting her finances. Where is the gift within the wound? Just like I shared, I have this storyline that says I do it all myself. The gift is that, like I said, your girl got grit. Not much scares me out there. So I'm like, all right, we'll figure it out. We'll handle it. I became very confident in my ability to source and resource whatever I needed from my own energy frequency. I can count on myself to get things done. I have massive amount of trust for myself. And a lot of people out there, it's really challenging to trust yourself, challenging to trust yourself to make great decisions. That's not one of my issues because I did the puppet shows when I was a kid. So find the gift within the wound. And I would love you to share that in the comment too. Taylor, playing full out. Thank you for being here, sister. Yes, learning how to heal and love myself. Yes. Jen McDonald, I love you. The gift is I stop the ancestral lineage, create new for my boys. Yes. And, oh, I just got chills through my whole body. Jennifer McDonald, by the way, is doing this on a really high level. And one of the things that, sorry, Jennifer, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Be like Jennifer. One of the things that separates Jennifer from many people who show up and do this work is that she recognizes that she's not only doing it for her microcosm, which is her family, but she knows that her soul agreed to come in and pave the way for others of you doing this ancestral work to clear it for the entire planet. Anne is another one. Yep. Anne, I'm going to brag on you a little bit here today too. An area where Anne is specializing is helping people clear their ancestral lineage, because this woman's story of the victimhood that she took on ancestrally, that she cleared, captivating. Good stuff. It's a good Hollywood script in there, Anne. Cool. Thank you all. I'm going to invite you to continue to share in the comments. So not only are you allowing yourself to be witnessed, but you are exponentially increasing the healing that all of us get to tap into when you share. Because while Jennifer is working on the ancestral part, and Taylor is working on the financial part, and Robert's working on, protection and clearing, that's the powerful masculine energy that protects us as we do the work. Yes, as Julie's working on learning to be okay, that she is enough. What happens is that we're all taking on separate personality aspects of the work that we're collectively doing, and we're sharing that with each other. So when we root Taylor on for doing the work, and we root Anne on for doing the work, and we root Patty on for doing the work, it's like those people are doing that work for you too, and you can tap in and get the benefits. It's like a transmission. All right, I can stay here in my lane and I can work on teaching people the Akashic Records, because I know Anne's got the avenue of ancestry. And it's not just Anne, it's a lot of people, right? Jennifer's got the avenue of re-education. Robert's got the avenue of healing the divine masculine. And again, not to say that that becomes your responsibility. It's effortless. Just you doing the work with the awareness that we're all connected in this grid of consciousness that I had you play imagination in when we first started in this space together. Imagining where we're all tuning in from, being these pinpoints of light. We are channels, antennas of this energy. We are in essence like the Great Pyramid. So the Great Pyramid was a giant machine, consciousness machine, pumping in this very high frequency energy that allowed us to more easily tap into higher knowledge. Because of the lack of interference and this higher frequency energy pumping through the atmosphere. And when I say lack of interference, I mean no chemtrails, no EMFs, no GBCs. I made that one up, but what's the G one? Gwen trees or something like that. You know, all of the different ways. Vaccines, there's another one. Fluoride, all the conspiracies that we blame. As a collective, we're blaming these aspects of society for dumbing us down. But as soon as you call your power back to you and you say, I'm going to do the work and be responsible for my own vibrational frequency, you can get outside of a lot of that interference and that distortion. But we're really similar. Each one of you who are here participating today, we're like pyramids. And the Great Pyramid pumped this higher frequency consciousness through the planet, piezoelectric energy, that allows you to reach higher states of consciousness more efficiently and more quickly. And we're each, in essence, these pyramids. Did you know that the human body, by the way, is a holographic representation of the pyramid? And the pyramid is a holographic representation of Mother Earth. So we're, in essence, all doing this great work together. But we're taking on different aspects of the work and communicating it all back to this collective consciousness grid, the Akash, the ether. It's the space in between everything. And we are flooding this grid full of information and intelligence that helps our fellow humans. So good job doing the work. Okay, so we tapped into the gift within the wound. We found, let me just recap for us. We found the area where you are most victim in your life. We had the Akashic Records open up your intelligence so that you can understand where this comes from. Then we use the Akashic Records to open your intelligence to find the gift within the wound. So if we understand the gift, then we get to work with that victimhood in its highest octave, and it becomes a superpower. It no longer is existing in the shadow. And now I want you to project into the future what is possible for me now that I am no longer a victim to my finances. And I want you to play what if. Because remember, when we're in a physical plane, the vibrational frequency here is more denser than it is in the higher frequencies of different star systems, light, and oneness. So the fact that we are existing in this physical plane where things are more dense means that it's vibrating slower. Super simple science here for y'all today. Okay. It means that it's vibrating slower. And so when energy is vibrating at a slower rate, it means that once you make these mental shifts and have new thought forms, those are going to influence the field, the Akash, the ether. They're going to create feedback loops. And eventually, you are going to see a new reality show up. Your thoughts trigger this field, the universe, to rearrange itself for you and then show up differently. But it takes some time here on the physical. And it's good because if we vibrated to the speed of our thoughts when we were manifesting, how many of y'all had some bad thoughts today that you might not necessarily want to instantly manifest? So the fact that we are in this dense plane and things are vibrating slower, it's actually to our benefit, because what we project into the field, you guys see Clementine peeking up there? Clementine. She's getting all excited. She's like, I'm here to help y'all manifest. Let's go. How many of your animals come in when the vibe starts getting high? Send some love likes, hearts across the screen. Okay. So as we begin to project our thoughts, our new thoughts of what is possible, you are eventually going to see the universe rearrange itself. It's going to take a little bit of time, not much time, because we're vibrating faster and faster. And by the way, the faster you vibrate, the higher vibrational frequency you can hold, which means joy, which means gratitude, which means not losing your sovereignty to source and resource your own vibration and being affected by stressful situations happening outside of you. Okay. The more you can get outside of that and hold a higher frequency, the faster you will be able to manifest whatever this vision is that you are putting out into the field today on this powerful 222 gateway, now that you have released your victim mentality. So what is possible for you now that you are no longer chained to your victim mentality? And begin to think about it through the perspective of your vision. So for me, a huge piece of my vision is physical headquarters, like Hogwarts. Real Hogwarts that you can come to in the mountains, and you can begin to learn about your secret powers and your skills, and you can change the world with them. I love this vision. Y'all know how hard that vision is to accomplish when I have to build it all myself? I remember when I was a little girl going out into my dad's shed and workshop and finding a whole bunch of 2x4s out there and feeling like, dude, I'm going to build myself a clubhouse. Okay, imagine little Emily like dragging out these 2x4s with a handsaw. I remember like an hour into hand sawing that first 2x4 thinking, oh my God, this is going to take way too long. So now that I have released the victim mentality, I'm no longer solely responsible for dragging the 2x4s out of my dad's shed with the handsaw to build us all the Akashic Academy headquarters. Thank you, Jesus. Can I get an amen up in here? What is possible for me now is that I can magnetize into my field those who are destined to help in this legacy for humanity. Because I can guarantee you, I did not make that up myself. We think that we make it up ourselves. I said your imagination is a superpower. Here's what you need to know about your imagination is you're not making anything up in there. You are sending and receiving signals. You are born with an inherent coding within you of your vision and your dreams of what you want to experience here on the planet. And if you can strip away the aspects where you find yourself a victim, these codes within you come alive and they carry a magnetic frequency that you get to magnetize into your field those who are here to help you. How fun and easy is that? All you have to do is stay in a place of presence and happiness and joy. And it doesn't mean that you don't have your feelings when you feel hurt or betrayed or upset. We honor that. We give presence and witness to that. Julie has a vision of a grief center, creating space for us to learn how to work with these energies, how to not shove them off into the corner, but allow them to move through our body and our being so we don't have to hang on to them. And we get to alchemize them just like what you all participated in today. This is alchemy. This is the work of the great magicians, which is in all of your lineage, or you wouldn't be here. And as you begin to shift your own energy and make change in your own life, you are helping the entire planet. I put a link in the comments in the very beginning for everyone, and that is a link to the ether. I'm going to pop it back in here. And if you recognize the value of holding that higher frequency of consciousness, the gratitude, the miracle consciousness, staying in a state of joy, it's about learning to hold that frequency 24/7. I got a little ways to go, but I'm getting a lot better, I gotta say. And one of the things that's really helping me is the ether, which I downloaded, channeled through as a low investment membership community where we can all support each other in learning to hold that vibrational frequency. So when you join the ether, you get daily texts that give you a simple little exercise. Usually it can be done anywhere between 15 seconds and a minute. That's going to remind you to unplug from the intensity of what's going on around you, or the stress, or the patterns that pull you back down into a lower frequency, and remind you to hold that frequency of your vision of miracle consciousness. And the more you hold that frequency, the faster you will manifest. And it's all designed perfectly, because if you haven't learned to hold that frequency, you're still thinking a lot of dense thoughts. And if those manifested instantly, you'd be screwed. So it's actually good that it's taken you a long time to manifest while you still haven't mastered the mind. And by divine right, when you learn to hold a higher frequency of consciousness, you're going to manifest faster, because we got work to do. I'm going to say one more bad word. We got shit to do here on the planet. Okay, then no more bad words. All right, thank you all so much for playing out. I want to know how you feel now. I saw a question here from Robert. This is excellent. What if I had all the time I needed to accomplish my higher goals? This is excellent. So remember I talked about the resistance or the shadow energy that might come up especially as we begin to project into the future. What is possible for me now that I'm not attached to my victim mindset anymore? Let's say, using my analogy and sharing my vision with you all, having Hogwarts, or the mystery school, physical headquarters here in the high desert. What if I noticed that I said, ooh, this is what's possible for me now, and then my little voices came up? A great way to deal with those voices are, well, what if I had all of the time I needed? What if? It's play pretend. Because sometimes declaring what it is that we want is so big, and we might not have had an experience where we believe that that's possible for us yet because we're still doing the work. Play pretend. What if? Act as if. And that's a key to being a great actor, is learning to show up truthfully in imaginary circumstances. Playing what if. So, for those of you who didn't spend 20 years in Hollywood or take a bunch of acting classes, let yourself play in that field right now. Just pretend that that version of you, like you're an actor and somebody gave you a script. And it's cool because in that career path, in that timeline where you get to be an actor, it's your job to pretend and to play truthfully in what may still be imaginary circumstances around you. You know what kind of brainwaves actors use? They use theta brainwaves. Theta brainwaves are brainwaves that don't recognize limitation. And maybe you didn't spend 20 years in Hollywood being an actress or an actor, or New York or any other place. But I guarantee you've all had a dream before where something amazing has happened to you, even if you don't regularly have great dreams or regularly remember your dreams. I guarantee you've had at least one dream in your life where you took off flying. You're like, oh, this is cool. I'm flying. I want to do this every day. That's because during REM sleep, rapid eye movement, or the dream state, you are using theta brainwaves. Theta brainwaves are not the brainwaves you're using right now. Probably using, I'm thinking alpha or beta is probably what we're using right now. These are more logic and problem solving brainwaves. But when you tap in and you use your theta brainwaves do not recognize limitation. So if you notice that you are projecting this vision and this new version of yourself into the future, and you notice that your shadow might still be tagging along, you're trying to run from your shadow, but it's chasing you a little bit. That's okay. It looks like that in the beginning. We got to retrain ourselves. Let's integrate your shadow by saying, all right, what if I did have all of the help that I needed to start building Hogwarts today? What would that look like? Okay. And begin to allow yourself the space, give yourself the permission, let it be imperfect and a little sloppy around the edges, but do the work. Okay. Again, for those of you who need help and support keeping your vibrational frequency high so that you're always tapped in, check out the ether. This community is growing every single week, and it will just support the heck out of you. That's all I can say. All right. So we are going to wrap up for today. Thank you all for being here. I just really love spending this time with you. I get such a charge of energy. Send some love, likes, hearts across the screen one more time before we go out. Just blow up the algorithms here with me on social media. Encourage social media to share this out because, again, the more of us that come together in this space, the faster we all grow, the stronger we all get together. And you get good karma points for doing your work, okay? Once you have awareness that your growth and expansion matters to the rest of the planet, that's what I mean by you get good karma points for doing the work. You're raising your vibrational frequency, you're encouraging others, you are here fulfilling your soul mission just by showing up and being in a space of connection, being willing to see what you get to shift, where your shadow is in course correct. Thank you all for all of this. I'm going to invite you to share it out too. These love likes, hearts across the screen, your comments definitely encourage the social media outlets to share this message out. But don't forget, you can do it too. Share it out. Share it to someone that you know could benefit from working with their shadow, somebody who's in challenge right now, share it out on your timelines, whatever feels aligned to you. And thank you for letting me be someone who shows up every week and shares with each of you. I love my job. And you all are who makes it possible. So thank you for being present to and excited about the empowerment that we all get to create here. Don't forget, it's 222 gateway and portal. Anytime you happen to remember today and that flashes through your mind, stop and take a moment and remember what you projected out into the field today. Maybe send another little dose of it out there, remembering what your vision is and what is possible for you now that you have done the work here inside the Akashic Academy today to release your shadow and your victim. Namaste, and I'll see you all back here again next week.